my life has been a lot of, roller coasters, a lot of losses, but at the same time, a lot of wins. So I'm very consistent with what I'm doing. And 2023 is looking very bright for me. And, and this podcast is looking very bright for us. We want to thank y'all for really supporting us for what we do. Shout out to the
episode 1 is at 500 views.
500 views.
We appreciate y'all.
I want to give a special shout out to my nigga Isaiah. So he has his brand. It's called I Am Me right here. So I Am Me basically stands for, you being yourself throughout all the trials and errors that you've been through in this life. So instead of him having like the ME, he has like MI. And then he also has Through It All right here. And then, so make sure y'all tap in with him. He's another, great dude, humble dude. He actually played against Cole at Lifetime. So, and I like to see black-owned business come up. So, tap in.
We are always looking for sponsors. So, guys, if you got, creators, if you got any, dope gear that you want to show off, we got a bunch of ad space here that we can put stuff up. Also, we were just talking about earlier, making like big short videos and stuff. So if you got any short films, anything that you want to show in, artists, if you want some of your music played, reach out to us. Our email is peaceofmindpodcast22@gmail.com. And let's see if we can make something happen for everybody.
Salute. Right. Peace, guys and goddesses.
It's crazy though, man. But let me ask you though, man. What why you say this year is a loss? Because I think there's a lot of losses in this year. Definitely, I wouldn't say it's the year of the loss though.
I just think, bro, because like thinking back, like what positive memories do you have coming out of 2022? Really, shit, we had Delta, Omicron. Like the first quarter to like half of the year was like COVID shit. The world wasn't back to normal. I don't even know if it is now, but. We still walking around in masks and, everybody's scared to go out and it's not a lot of functions going on. I mean, shit, we had all the deaths that were really just televised this year. Like it was just so many L's taken this year. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't really think of anything positive, really. I mean, the podcast, but overall, I think this has been a heavy year for a lot of people, bro.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would challenge you and say, okay, so is that everything that's going on in the world, but like your 2022, like how was your 2022? Would you say that you lost more than you gained this year? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, of course, Russia and COVID and all these losses. R.I.P. Tory Lanez, 22 years. Goddamn.
It might as well be R.I.P. because that man ain't gonna get out till he's 50 years old.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Because I say personally, I would say there's really one thing that's really been kind of holding me back the entire year. But other than that, bro, Dreamville Fest, the podcast, me trying to work on my book, me building my clothing brand, me getting more serious about my fitness, me elevating my spirituality, me fostering my connections, me fostering to the point where we're doing podcast shit, we're tapping into our entrepreneurial spirit. And every loss that I found this year, like every single loss, every time I was really, really low, I always saw that the loss that it was perceived to be in the moment ended up being a gain in the long run, because after the emotional grieving is over, you see what takes its place. Just like when you break a bone, your bone goes back stronger. Scientifically, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's a real thing, because your heart pumps out extra amounts of blood when you're going through stress, because you're so stressed out. That's where high blood pressure comes from. But here, I'm getting off topic. But once it stops, once the stress stops, your heart hardens and calcifies, and it makes your heart stronger. You know what I'm saying?
And with me, you know, like I said, so I just got a brand new job offer. Mind you, like a little bit of a backstory. Like I had like the vision and goal. I say, hey, you know, I'm gonna come back up inside, you know, this department, and then I'm gonna like branch off and then, you know, do my thing. I applied for this position like four times. Unfortunately, I got turned down. But one of the assistant head managers at where I work at, he said, hey, yo, Jarrell, come here for a second. He was like, all right. I came, and then he allowed me to work on his like laptop to, you know, what I'll be doing as far as like work and whatnot. And then he's like, yo, like we'll go back up in there, reapply for this position, and then I got you an interview. So for him to like really say that to me, that meant a lot because, you know, I was really, you know, where I work at and like what I do, like I'm really like in the trenches. Like the shit that I see, the average person would quit on the spot. But I said, no, you know what? You came up in this shit for a mission and you will complete it. And then that's exactly what I did. And I took the long route. And then now I started this brand new position on the 14th next month. So already I'm starting off 2023 with a banger. And then like obviously with another department, and he's the witness too. I applied 714 times because that's how much that's how much of a true hustler.
He showed me the submissions. He applied 714
like
times.
all my other niggas and all that, they was like, Jarrell, like why'd you do that? I said, nah, fuck that shit because I really wanted this shit, dog. Like, yeah, like y'all eating good, but me, nigga, like I really need to come up, bro. So like when I get in that like mode of the hustler, like ambition, I really like do it. So
he be bumping New York niggas, filling out applications. He be bumping Davies.
Like Davies
and Conway.
Let us say that I'm handsome. Kidnap that nigga then call for the
nigga, I'm getting the job. But see, like that's inspiring though because that shows you the same energy you gonna put into this situation that you've been putting in this situation is gonna manifest in other areas. So when you sitting here and you double down on your record label. Bro, you're not going to stop. You're going to try 714 times. And even though they told you no 714 times, you can get that shit to 715. Yep. Why? Because you hold your head higher and hold your crown higher. You ain't saying no to me, nigga.
Send this shit 713 more times, man.
And shout out nigga Davies, bro. You that nigga. Shout out.
Hey, man, let's get into these this event recap, man. So, in no particular order, I just, you know what I'm saying, collected some of the notable stuff that happened in pop culture this year, bro. Let's start off with a heavy hitter, man. The slap.
Man.
The slap heard around the world, man.
Will slap. Will slap Chris Rock. You know,
How did y'all feel about that, man? Because we never talked about that since we got the podcast.
Spiritual, man. Spiritual. I'm gonna tell you why, and that actually plays into one of the central themes for this year. This year, as I said, it's been a lot of highs and lows for me personally. Whenever I like to dive in and assess like something that's going on in popular culture, I feel as if I try to relate myself to it. And the key thing that I got from that isn't necessarily the slap. I think the slap was the on the surface shit that just really got everybody's attention. Mm-hmm. For me, the most powerful thing was what Denzel Washington said to him right before he got on that stage.
What was that, bro? I forgot.
Denzel Washington. Every time I hear this nigga outside of a movie, he's always dropping some gems. This nigga said to Will Smith, "The devil comes for you at your highest moment."
And then he went and slapped that nigga.
He went and slapped the fuck out that nigga. Keep your wife's name out my mouth.
So all right, Real. So how you feel about the slap, bro?
When I first seen the video, I was actually like working and whatnot, and I was on my break. So I called in like a few coworkers, and like we all like watched, and I'm like, yo, like, is this like really like real life? Like
you thought he was
right, like Will Smith, one of the greatest icons of history. Like he just goes on stage and slaps the fuck out of like Chris Rock. But I felt like that shit was deeper because obviously what's going on behind the scenes of his whole family situation, and then
it definitely was a boiling point. It wasn't like he just was set off by what he said. But when I say like, what was your takeaway? So did you kind of agree with him, or do you feel like it was like out of place?
He could have went about it in a different way.
Yeah.
But this goes to show you too that when it comes to a black man's mental health, nobody gives a motherfucking fuck. Like, nobody cares until the nigga just snaps. And then it's like, oh my God, like, he's fucking crazy as fuck. Like, get him on some pills and da-da-da. No.
They always be playing that nigga Will. They be playing that shit.
Like, always, bro. Like, Will is the culture. Like, whether you think he's corny or not, no, like, Will is like Will. And I feel
Will's
like
a good
he's a
dude,
legend, bro.
He's
a really
he's a
good
solid
dude.
person, bro.
A really good dude. And then for him, and I looked at it as like, bro, like, obviously we're not perfect, like we're human beings, but bro, like, you're Will Smith, like you are an icon, and yet you don't even like have self-respect for yourself because of who you're dealing with. Like, it is just like, you know, still mind-boggling. But it goes to show you that, hey, bro, like, you know, like, we're all human and nobody is perfect. So, you know, he could have went about it in a different way. Now, I don't agree with the Oscars banning him for like 10 years for doing that
that's
shit.
some bullshit.
Hell
yeah,
no.
that's ridiculous.
Hell no.
So, Jay, what was your take, like, as far as agreeing with it or it being out of pocket?
He let the devil get to him. He's going to test your patience. He's going to test you. And he got tested. I don't like to say that he failed that test, but I say Will Smith has some growing to do. And I think that Will Smith should exercise more personal power over himself, because it's all your power comes from your reaction.
Over himself or his woman. I think he need to exercise more control over his woman because she be running.
I could see that. Well, one, all we know is what's told to us, and two, that falls suit with having personal power. So if he had personal power, his woman wouldn't be running all over him like that, because he wouldn't allow certain things, and he's not going to settle for anything less than what he deserves. And I just feel like he gave Chris Rock the power to make him do something that had long-standing ramifications, and at the end of the day, he lost that power.
Right.
He lost it, and that's where Will Smith lost.
Mm-hmm.
That's where he lost.
And it was just, and to me, like, I felt like, you know, the joke was like, you know, just a little like minor joke. Like, he didn't like really say anything. But once again, you and I both know that certain people can't take certain things. So then, you know, he allowed that to overcome him. And it's just like, bro, like, you know, you can't allow what people like say to like throw you off like your whole like aura, like your sense of aura about yourself, because people are always gonna have something to say. So it's just like, okay, you know what? Just embrace who the fuck you are, and if they fuck with it, don't, you know, and then let them joke, because why? We all get joked. But for you just to like still just, you know, go up there and then just like slap that man in front of like the whole world, it's just like, okay. But I understand, because obviously you have built up anger and tension, like obviously from other shit that we don't know about.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't agree with that shit at all. I thought that shit was 100% out of place, because it's like, bro, you a grown ass man. On top of that, like, it's politics to this shit. We already know. What was it, the Oscars?
Yeah, the Oscars, bro.
We already know. First of all, y'all were boycotting the Oscars years ago, talking about Oscars so white. Your wife was the main one boycotting the shit. Now y'all at the Oscars, and then you get up here and slap Chris Rock in the face. Will Smith is not a comedian, but he's playing comedic roles. Like, bro, he being a host, my nigga. Like, he's trying to lighten the mood. What he said was, what, G.I. Jane? And,
yeah, like G.I. Jane.
It wasn't even a big deal.
Yeah, right.
Now, it could have been, like, this is what I was telling people too. Like,
he called that bitch G.I. Jane.
It's a chuckle. It wasn't even like he's sitting there smashing, like, going in on her, you know what I'm saying? It was a light jab. Nobody even thought much about it, but this is the thing that, like, we just don't, whenever we look at TV and, you know, Instagram clips and stuff like that, we just don't know the context. You know, like I was telling people, she could have, you know, just been feeling insecure and telling Will that, you know, maybe she didn't want to go that night. And, you know, she didn't want to go. And he's like, nah, baby, you know, come on, let's go. And she like, nah, no, you know, he gonna say some shit about my hair and all this. Oh, wow. And then he could have been like, well, if niggas say something, I'm gonna slap the shit out of him.
And what happened?
I think that might have been what it been, because, bro, why else would you blow up over, like, a light jab? Like I said, he being a host, his job is literally to crack jokes in
Right.
between, the
Right.
awards and shit to keep the shit live.
Yeah.
Like, and then like I don't know, people too sensitive today.
right.
People just too
And
sensitive because it turned into a whole protecting, your woman and shit. And it's like, bro, anybody can get a joke. Like I just hate the double standard of. Men can get publicly humiliated. We can get joked on and shit, but if somebody crack a joke on a woman, it's the end of the fucking world. Like, at the end of the day, you a person. You're here, you know what I'm saying? He's being a host. Like, it's just, everybody can get it. And like I said, it'd be different if he dogging you out. He said something like, keep it pushing. That was just a bad look because me being a black man, I'm always cautious about the way I carry myself in public. Because I already know how I'm perceived. And like I said, y'all already boycotting the shit in the first place. And then it's just like, bro, this is public television. Like, everybody literally, it's called a slap heard around the world. Everybody around the world is watching the shit. And you get up there and slap him in the face. And you worked with this dude before. Sure. Like, this is I'm not going to say he your homie, but y'all know each other. So, like, come on, bro. You could have been nothing better than that, money.
And I also felt like, he chose the right person to do that shit to. Because if he would have did that shit to someone like 50 Cent or whatnot, he would have did that shit. Hell no. He knew Chris Rock. Well, obviously, Chris Rock, he plays his role well. Like, Chris Rock, that's,
you talking about who got slapped? You talking Will Smith did it to the right person.
Like, he would have did that shit to no 50 Cent. Yeah. Let's keep it a buck.
I agree with that. I mean, Chris, what's his name? Chris Rock, a small dude.
Right.
Yeah, Chris is Chris, he really must look at him like he's a bitch because he got up in the middle of Oscars and said, "Hell no, this itty bitty bitch ass nigga is not gonna call my woman G.I. Jane."
Okay, so like if y'all was Will Smith, would y'all have done the same thing though?
No,
bro, oh my god,
like,
bro, that's
not in public figure, bro. Yeah. Like we could talk like grown men, like behind the scenes, but like when we out in the public view. Nigga, like we got an image to uphold. Like I'm not saying like we not perfect and whatnot, but understand like you doing that, you're gonna lose like obviously some endorsements, and then other people they're gonna look at you
exactly. And it's like that's just the control that you gotta have as a man. Because if you leave it to a woman, they gonna say, of course. If you ask a woman the same question, of course they gonna say, you should have slapped her. But it's like, as a man, you have to be the logical, rational person. I know if I come up here and I slap this man for cracking a joke, a light jab, I'm going to lose the endorsements. We're not ever coming back here again. Right. Like, there's a 10-year ban. I'm probably going to lose Hollywood money. So, yeah, I went up here and slapped them, but now we ain't got no money coming in because
the consequence.
You wanted me to go do some stupid shit.
I mean, I feel like we think we would want to do that, but I mean, think about what we feel like we know about Will Smith. Look at the interviews we've seen of him. Look at the life advice he's freely giving out. Look at the movies that he plays. Look at the type of man he seems to portray himself to be. I say seems because I don't know this nigga. Right. But, I mean, like, and put yourself in that situation. When he said on record, like, my anxiety was going crazy. I was nervous. I was just that and the third. And then Denzel telling him, yo, the devil comes for you at your highest moment. Bro, like, if man or woman, logic goes out the window sometimes when you in a pressure situation. And going back to what we've been saying, you don't know what the behind the scenes were. They could have been fighting, or Jada could have been like, yo, I'm nervous about my hair, or he could just have been real anxious. He could have had someone pass away. He could have had a whole bunch of fuck shit just going on, and then he's like, oh my god, I just know something's gonna go crazy tonight. So, of course, you know what I mean. I would like to think that I would not slap that motherfucker. I would like to think that. I would like to think that I would be a little bit more composed. But I think we also need to allow people to be human, because the other thing we need to understand is that people are sensitive because everybody's subject to so much scrutiny. Matter of fact, I was thinking about this on the way down here. We're in the age of information, and what comes with the age of information is this pressure to be right. There's so much information out there. There's no excuse for you to not have the right answer and not say the right thing, because you need to inform yourself. You need to educate yourself. But I don't say that in a holding other motherfuckers accountable type of way of going about things. I'm saying that low-key in a sympathetic type of way of going about things, because now we're the disease that we need to get rid of right now, the obstacle we need to get over right now is this infection of always trying to be right, always trying to make the right choice, do the right thing. We are all educated enough to know that there's no eternal right or wrong. Now it's up to us now.
metaphorically, we're tearing down the gods and the devils of the world. And now we're not looking to our priests, our local oracles, our local old folks at the church. Now we're looking to us like, okay, no, now it's up to me to determine how I want to live. What are my 10 commandments? What is my moral codes? What is the code that I want to live by? And I say that's one of the points I've had to get up to this year. You know what I mean? To see that going on out here and then having to point the finger at myself and being like, yo, you got to trust yourself. You got to hold yourself accountable, and you have to be gentle with yourself, and you have to allow yourself to simply just be human, man. Even the situation I got going on that y'all know about, you know what I mean, bro? Like, honestly, bro, it's just shit happens, bro. Like, you live life, and this is the drama that comes with life. And you always outlast your storms. Your storms can't outlast you.
And then, so also too, that's why I said, you know, Will, I still love you, bro. Like, I'm not gonna be one of those people just to jump the gun and say, hey, like, fuck you because you made me say no, because like we're human beings. Like, you know, we all have, you know, those moments, but it just goes to show you that society does not give a fuck about about a black man's mental health when he's like in a real dark, like, blackout state. Simple.
Yo, Kanye West.
Kanye
West took a
hold up. Hey, let's give him respect, bro. It's Ye.
Nah, fuck that. Kanye
his
West.
name's Ye.
Hey, Kanye West took up a lot of real estate in my mind this year, bro. I ain't gonna hold you.
Okay.
Kanye West been on some shit.
I like the way you said that, bro. He took up some real estate. Put the emoji right here beside you. In what way, bro? Like, what type of real estate did he occupy in your mind?
I mean, okay, I'm trying to think. Was that Drinks Champ interview this year?
Yeah,
the first one.
Him and Nori.
So Kanye West, he had, I think the first one, it might have been like early in the year, but that was a great interview because, okay, so number one, I got a lot of respect for Kanye, but I think Jalen said it in the previous episode, like Kanye, what did you say, bro?
He has a problem with articulation.
He has a problem with articulation. Like, Kanye, if you are intellectual and somebody that can, like, listen to people and, like, active listen for the message, when you listen to Kanye, you'll understand what he's trying to say. Yeah. Now, he's not going to put it into words the best way he should, and that's so crazy because he's a rapper. You know, he's supposed to be a wordsmith, a lyricist. So, but, I mean, that interview that I watched, the first one, it almost like opened my mind because I forget exactly. Okay, so one of the things that he was talking about in the interview that was just deep to me, like he was talking about the vibrations of music and shit like that, where he was like, and I've heard this also too. Like I watched the interview with, I want to say it wasn't DJ Vlad, but it was some dude from some old rapper that just got out of jail. It's not important. But anyway, he was saying that, like, when you hear certain beats, you're going to rap about certain stuff. Right. In that interview, Kanye said that, bruh, certain music puts out certain vibrations that bring on certain behaviors. And I was like, bruh, that's some deep shit because it's like, I'm still a hip hop head. I used to listen to a lot of trap music. I can't even listen to trap now. Just like hearing that type of beat is automatically a turn off to me because it's just like, it just takes you to a low place hearing it, you know. Yeah, low vibration. But I mean, it's definitely like turn up music. If I go to the club, turn that trap shit on. But me just, out here every day, I'm not playing trap like that because it's gonna put you on that demon time. Like it's, right. You know what I'm saying?
Like you're looking for the opposition. Like you
right. You looking for somebody to try you. Right. You just walking around like that. That's not good.
Nah, that's not a healthy place to be. And then to translate to you about, Kanye, I feel like Kanye, he doesn't articulate himself well. What he was trying to say, let's go back to 2018 when he said slavery was a choice. What he was trying to say, was that slavery was a choice mentally.
I mean, right? I think we all know. I think we all know what he was trying to say. Like, be honest with yourself, bro. You know what he was trying to say. Mm-hmm. He was trying to say that, like, it's a choice because if basically you had a choice of being a slave or dying. Now, a lot of people did choose to die. A lot of people jumped off the slave ships. A lot of people hung themselves. A lot of people said, I'm not going to be a slave and killed themselves. But it's just, like I said, just everybody's so sensitive today. And it's a very sensitive topic. I mean, you know, I 100% understand, but what he said ain't a lie. It was a choice.
And
You
we
either
so
gonna be a
wrapped,
slave or you gonna die.
we're so wrapped up in how we word things that it distorts the message. Like you just said, like be honest with yourself. You know what he was trying to say, but y'all want to ignore what he's trying to say, and you want to say, but you said it like this. You should say it doesn't matter. That does not matter. If you already knew what he was trying to say, why are you going to further the diversity? Why are you furthering the split that you're just putting? You know what I mean? Right now we're low-key in an epidemic where black men and black women are just at odds.
Well, let's talk about that.
Bro, I'm so, you know, I'm about to go on a tangent real quick. Honestly, I hate this whole niggas ain't shit. And forgive my language, bitches ain't shit philosophies that you motherfuckers talk about. Yeah. It's no intelligence in that conversation. The dialogue is completely uneducated, immature, and pointless. Because I've been in male circles and female circles. Y'all motherfuckers talk about the same thing. So you're just bitching and you just want to be right. You just want shit to go your way. That's the definition of a problem. Things aren't going the way I feel like it should go. So obviously you're the problem. If us as men are just going to talk about how, oh, women just, you try to get a good woman, but they want the ain't shit nigga. Oh, women are just too emotional, or you give them you try to be a good man to them, you can't even do that, or whatever you want to say. And then in female circles, all niggas are dogs, they always gonna cheat. Y'all are just not understanding. Y'all just think y'all are better. Whatever the case is, I could go on and on. Right. But it's completely unhelpful. It's time for that shit to stop, because obviously it's not niggas or bitches ain't shit. It's all y'all ain't shit.
So that whole argument about, you know, niggas ain't shit, bitches ain't shit, or let's uplift black women specifically, or let's, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with uplifting black women, but when you're doing that to demise somebody that's a man, especially a black man, that's nothing but separatism. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, I mean, a real man is all about protecting this woman and shit, but you can't be screaming, protect black women, and you're over here killing somebody on the side. But like I said, that's something else, man.
And to add on top of that, what dudes are doing, all right, so let's keep it with women real quick. Women are sitting here tearing down the character of the collective identity of the black man. And that's how we're choosing to uplift women nowadays. And that's not going to get y'all anywhere. You can't move forward by just pointing the finger at you're the problem. You know what I'm saying? The same thing with us. We can't expect to find us a good black woman if we're just going to sit here and say all you black black hoes are just mouthy and damaged and just hurt. It's not all black women. So it goes both ways, yo. It goes both ways. We need to find a way to unify.
Bro, this is what I want to say about that. Like the whole, like, bro, you just got to realize, like, everything that, most of the shit that we have a conflict on comes from somebody that's outside of us. Meaning most of the time the government. So have you noticed in this past few years, like anything a girl does, like even the shit that would have been insane years ago, like teaching young girls how to twerk, how to just be hoes, basically. Like being a hoe is like some shit that'll be clapped. Oh, she's a darling, she's a sweetheart. So anything that the woman does is put up in a positive light. But when you see us, it's, oh, this rapper got killed. So-and-so getting locked up, or somebody caught a domestic, like everything that you see. When is the last positive black man thing that you saw? You know what I'm saying? Everything that you see about us, we murderers, we killers, we beating our women. But everything that, you know, they show with women, they uplifting. Even the shit that's fucking ridiculous. Like I said, you ain't got no business teaching no young girl how to twerk. Like, people act like twerking ain't what it is. Twerking is... Okay, so men are physical. Anything that's jiggling, anything that's shaking, and you all know what your sexual shit, your organs are. Titties, ass, all that shit. So if you shaking that shit in somebody's face, it's just natural. Like it's a sexual turn on. Let's stop acting like it's not what it is.
Right.
Not saying we not down for it. I mean, go for it. But when it comes down to the real level, we know what it is. So why you showing this to this 8-year-old girl who ain't even hit puberty yet? You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't no positive shit, and it's damn so not no shit we should be uplifting. But it's like all the whole shit is being uplifted. But with men is we murderers, killers, rapists, drug dealers. Like, bruh, let's hear some positive shit, man. Like I'm tired of that shit.
Yeah, it's like you trying to move on and you just keep being told how wrong you are. And it's
Right.
like, damn, bro, I'm trying
That
to
shit
do
is
better.
damaging to your psyche, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And
Like,
I
Umar
had
talked
something
about
real
that
powerful
shit.
to say, but I want Rel to go ahead and put some 2 cents in.
I was just about to say, like, teaching girls how to be hoes and bitches and shit. Lotto, the rapper, shout out Lotto. Granted, again, I'm not trying to slander you, but you said something to that 9-year-old like girl, which it wasn't right. Like you told her, no, she said something like, oh, like that. What does that mean? And then like you said, oh, like you'll find out like
What
once you
was
get
said?
older.
I missed it.
I don't know, like, well, the way that she worded it, it was kind of like, like you'll find out what it means to be a hoe.
Ooh.
That was the interpretation. Hey, like like yo, understand what it means to be a hoe and a bitch one day.
And then what it is, bro, I think that it really just be like you can't really blame women because when somebody has been oppressed for so long,
Centuries.
when somebody's been
Centuries.
oppressed for so long, when they finally get that, that shift in the dynamic, they take it to the extreme. So that's all that's going on right now is like women have been oppressed for so long, so they want to feel liberated to go out here and dress half naked and dress and see through shit and shake their ass and shit. Even though it's like, there's prevalent danger and just bad morality in that shit. But it's like you can't really tell me shit because this is my moment. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on.
And I mean, that's how I know we all on the same frequency right now. Shout out to this high vibration we on. They're traumatized. They're traumatized. You know what I mean? Like I said, centuries. You know what I mean? Imagine being a black woman in slavery. Being black is hard enough. You were a black woman in slavery, yo.
You reminded me of some shit I was gonna say earlier.
Go ahead.
So I got female friends that I talk to about there's just different shit that we talking about now with like the inequalities and shit. And they basically were just saying, they were feeding into that whole narrative of the black man versus the black woman. They were like, well, black women have it the hardest, we're the most disrespected out of all races. And, you know what I'm saying? We were getting raped and had to carry the babies of the slave owners. I'm like, but y'all don't realize it's not a black woman, it's a black people struggle. While y'all were out there getting raped, we were either getting killed, we were watching the shit, like we're getting castrated, like so y'all got raped, got pregnant, and had to have a baby. We had to deal with that shit.
And
a lot of niggas could. That shit happened too. A lot of niggas couldn't deal with that shit. They killed themselves, bro. Like, so almost every struggle that you bring up that say it's a black woman struggle, it's not about black women versus black men because that half of that shit is gonna be us together. Whatever you went through, there's an adverse mirror to the psyche of the black man for that shit too. So we got to stop with the whole, I don't know what's going on lately with maybe it's the feminist movement or what, but it's like, it almost want to put black women on a pedestal of, you know what I'm saying? Like just a pedestal of untouchable, and we go through the most shit. We go through shit too. We black people in general go through the most shit in this country. That's a fact. So let's stop separating to the men versus the women because that's a big problem we got right now.
And you hitting it on the head, bro. It's black people's struggle. We sitting here making separate movements, and it's like, bro, we need to do this together. It's not just black women's rights. This goes with our rights as black people. That needs to add to our agenda. It's not lesser or more. It's just all on the same playing field. And I would say that it's the point that we at, I would say we're at the age of information. It's coming with a lot of anxiety and with so much information, especially with the scientific improvements on mental health and how you can point. Mental health is a new religion. Mental health is the new religion, y'all. Because you gotta think.
That's
the key to enlightenment is I use this quote. A word cannot teach a man anything. A man is what gives word value. It's the person inside yourself that really determines the plentiful life that you live, right? But we look to symbols to point to. Back in the day, it was religion. This commandment says I shouldn't do this. So that explains, or this is the devil doing this to me. That explains why this is going on. Now, instead of the devil, we're pointing to anxiety, pointing to depression. It's a result of the age of information. We're experiencing these symbols, and then we're trying to find our out through these symbols, through these things that represent the thing that we're going through, instead of going through what we're going through and find the lessons through there. And now what you have is, as a result of all this information, it's also an age of victimhood. Mm-hmm. It's victimhood. The people that are steering popular culture are victim mindset people. They have the victim mindset, and they want everybody to pay for it. You know, I don't want to say that. Let me take that back. They have a victim mindset, and because of that, that's why you see the sensitivity that you see. Right. You know what I mean? Kids are diagnosing themselves with anxiety and depression at age 14, and now they're just killing themselves because life is too fucking hard and I don't see it out. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to whine and complain a little bit too much. And I don't want to sound like I'm being insensitive, but we're whining and complaining to the point where there's no growth. It's hindering you. Like you're stuck in the grief process of denial and just sadness and anger, and you're not moving onto the acceptance. Going back to Will Smith, it's about the devil comes for you at your highest moment. I keep saying it. And the point where you don't let the devil come for you at your highest moment, I'm talking to y'all, I'm talking to them, and I'm talking to myself. It's the personal power that you have inside. That's what gets you past the anger, the sadness, the denial, and you move to the acceptance parts. And where are we going to go from here? Because there's always a problem after a problem, but it's always a problem right in front of you that you have to give your full attention. And right now, we have to give our full attention to shifting our multitude of cultures inside this country from victimhood to process-orientated godhood.
It's tough, bro.
And I'm gonna add on too. So another issue that we deal with in our community, the Black community, is colorism. Like the whole dark skin, light skin, black skin. Like, bro, like we all hate, bro. Like we're all in this shit, bro. Like it shouldn't be no reason why you hating on him because he's a lighter black than you, nigga. Like you are black. Bro.
I thought you were gonna say this light skinned Drake nigga. That's why I started laughing. I heard it before he said it.
This nigga traumatized. He a victim of it.
I am traumatized, bro. Because, bro, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna let you go, real. Light skinned niggas don't be worried about none of y'all, but I swear y'all always have to have us in our mouths, bro. Always.
Shut up, nigga.
Nigga, you shut up.
I never looked at it like I was like a dark skin or a light skin thing because I'm like, bro, like we all black here, bro. Right, like what are we beefing for?
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
I got light skin grandma.
That's some real shit. Cause I can't lie, bro. Like this is just a product of being in the system, I guess. Like when I was younger, I wasn't attracted to darker skinned people. You know what I'm saying? But now, all my niggas that went to college with me know this. Like I love chocolate women. Like it's just something about that skin, bro. Like honestly, bro, I'm gonna tell you, this is probably TMI. But I really got
it's just us here, bro. It's just us. It's just us, bro.
Bruh, in college, right? So I was with this girl and she had these it was nighttime, probably like 3-4 in the morning, so y'all already know. But it was the blinds, bruh, and like it was a full moon. And I saw the light shining through the blinds and just the way it was radiating off her skin. That shit was magical, bro. Ever since then, I've been in love. So it's like, but definitely like growing up, yeah, it was like, you had all the jokes and shit. Even with African people, we grew up African booty scratcher and shit. You heard that shit? Like, we was real ignorant growing up. Now, I feel like this generation, we not doing that as much because oftentimes you hear, chocolate goddess and shit like that. Like a lot of people are embracing that, but growing up, definitely, yeah.
And I mean, obviously, I was really just fucking with y'all earlier, joking. You know what I mean? But it is an issue. I think it definitely has the same demon that we were just talking about. How we're creating separate movements.
Separatism.
It's separatism, bro.
That's the thing for 2023. eliminating separatism.
So is separatism a word before we go? Can
Separatism
we
is a
Google
word.
that real quick?
Separatism is a word.
I don't know if separatism is a word, and I caught myself
Gotta
saying
make
it.
me pull Siri up, bruh. Separatism. The advocacy or practice of separation of a certain group of people from a larger body of on the basis of ethnicity, religion, or gender.
I'm glad you clarified that for me. I don't think they heard you though. Like say it a little bit.
Hey man, put that in your notes, man.
Shout out Coop, King Coop with the vocab. You know what I'm saying?
Man. We all over the place, man. Y'all know how we do. And we was excited for this episode, man. Back to Kanye West, man. Kanye, he had a really good documentary this year. That documentary that was on Netflix, that shit was fire. And then that's shit like that is like why you gotta respect Kanye, because it's like, bro, he literally had the vision before he was famous. So I think he was recording the videos first, and then he got, what's his name, Cootie to do it for him. And it's like, bro, you literally seen everything that he did, he spoke into existence. And it's like, you literally seen the process of this, and the way he's just had this hidden for years. Like, we talking about videos from like the late 90s, early 2000s. It's 2022. And like all this shit is like relevant. Like, and it looked good too. It didn't look like no like retro shit for real. Like, it looked good quality.
For a minute, I thought this shit was fake. Cause I was watching, I was like, bro, what if he just filmed this shit?
Shit crazy, man.
Yeah.
Man.
What you got on the agenda, bro?
So this year we also had the super rise of inflation, man. Inflation reached unproportionate numbers this year. Have y'all felt the pull of inflation, or is like, you know what I'm saying, y'all straight?
Man, this year is when I have not looked at more gas prices. And
gas just now getting back to,
God,
it's still crazy, but it's like, it's the lowest it's been.
I felt like a true adult. I'm sitting there taking
$250
for gas.
You get the receipts at the pump?
Yeah,
bro. Yes.
I'm like, yo, $250. Y'all come over here. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like my dad. Everywhere I go, I keep a receipt on me now. Like, and I put that shit in my pocket, and then I go and do my budget. But
yup.
Man, I really felt it, because it's like, bro, like the place I stayed in last year. So I told y'all we in Raleigh, North Carolina. The place I stayed in last year was 1,000. It went from 1,000 to 1,400. Like, bro, niggas gotta live. Like, goddamn, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
bro. My shit went from 1,000 to 1,200 just for rent.
That shit crazy, man.
And I was gonna move to another spot. I'm from Garner, North Carolina. Raised all over the triangle, but I live in Greensboro right now. Shout out Trojan City, G-Town. But yeah, I was low-key either gonna plan to move out of Greensboro or to move into a different spot in Greensboro, but it was just more cost efficient to stay where I was at. You know what I mean? I want to leave where the fuck I'm at now. I don't want to stay there. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. And it's crazy to see how much it simply costs just to be alive.
Just to have a place to lay your head, bro. Like, niggas will tax you for that.
You can't
That's
be
literally
born
the
without
biggest
tax.
expense of the month is your fucking rent.
Deep shit. You gotta pay to live.
Nah, the deep shit is every time you step out of that door, you spending money. Like, bro, hopping in your car, driving, getting some food, whatever you do, anytime you leave your house, you burning some money. Like,
it's crazy, man.
So y'all, this is a fun fact, man. This is pretty interesting. So New York Times revealed that Americans are smoking marijuana more than cigarettes. So out of the population they surveyed, they got 16% revealed that they smoke marijuana versus 11% are smoking cigarettes.
Man,
how do y'all feel about that?
Weed is better than cigarettes. See, cigarettes, you know, that's like tobacco, right? And it fucks up your lungs and shit. It's not
weird. It's fucking weird. Stop. Don't smoke.
And also,
man, but y'all niggas smoking backwoods though. That's basically the same shit.
And
a little different.
I don't like how
I don't smoke backwoods.
You know how like back in the days, like with the Jet magazines, like they used to promote how cigarettes was like good, like hey, you know, like get you like cigarettes
in the 40s and all that.
Right. Like knowing damn well it's fucking niggas up. Like no, like it's not good.
But do you think that? I mean, we definitely see that more people are smoking weed, but don't y'all think that's hypocritical in some way? Like how you talk shit about somebody smoking cigarettes, but like I said, you smoking this backwood with a 3.5 in it. Like that's healthy.
And bro, honestly, weed And I told y'all, next year, this is what my intention is. I'm going to be smoking weed ritually because that's what weed was originally intended to do. Now, like most things that get mass produced, it's diluted, and the weed that we're really smoking is not good for us. I've heard from multiple sources that the men nowadays are more feminine because we're smoking female weed, yo. Because
the shit that they doing to what's the word, the genetic splicing and shit like that.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's really not serving us. You know what I mean? I've even played with thoughts of how it's kind of a mind control or a population control technique because weed literally just it sits you the fuck down. You know what I mean? And we're not getting nothing done. And I don't know if everybody else has the same experience I had. I noticed that people will lie to me saying that nah, weed just works for me, and then turn around and give me the same interpretation of what weed ended up doing for them as I feel like it did for me and does to me. Weed makes me more emotional. Weed makes me lazier, and weed makes me feel like I'm definitely more stupid. And weed makes me
you slower to react.
And I just feel more. And bro, I'm a person that's completely in tune with myself. My spiritual level and growth is on an astronomical level. Just to give myself flowers real quick. Let me pick my crown up. I'll drop it real quick. But
make sure you tilt that motherfucker.
Tilt that motherfucker to the side. But I mean, like, yeah, most people end up saying, yeah, it actually does the same thing for me. It makes me feel like I'm stupid or more emotional. I feel like, you know what I mean? I'm not doing anything right. Everybody who smokes weed that I talk to, bro, they always say the same shit. At least if you smoke consistently. Yeah. Like, literally, they all say, I just feel like
Hills with
I should be doing so much more, but I'm not doing it, and I don't know why. It's because, like, yo, you are getting this instant gratification of smoking and getting high, not understanding if you just stop that. I ain't gonna say just stop because I feel like marijuana addiction is an underrated addiction in just life. But if you just stop that, you'll get more done. You will manifest what you want to manifest. You know what I mean? But we are stuck on this low vibrational level because we are just all fucked up. We all are doing some type of drugs. If you in the hood, you smoking, you drinking, and doing whatever. You get older, you do crack, heroin, blase. You in white communities, you do meth. Motherfucking, you go to motherfucking suburbs, you popping pills. In high school, everybody's fucked up on something.
That man said crack.
Deep shit.
Not cocaine, crack.
Deep shit. Everything's a fucking drug. Money,
bars, drop some
entertainment, sports, everything's a drug, G.
Bro, you said everything's a drug.
Right. You knew he said some shit. Come on, man. Hey, bro, you knew he said some shit.
Take the shades, man. Take the shades, man. Snaps for real.
But hold on, bro. Let me
Oh.
All right, bro. Hey, Jay, you said some shit, bro.
He did, bro. He did.
You said that you feel like weed. What did you say? Weed is a political thing or something like that? What did you say?
Weed could possibly be a population control technique.
I think it is, bro. Well, not necessarily population control, but I think that there is a agenda that they're definitely pushing with it because, I mean, anybody that smoke weed
mind control, population control. That's what I'm saying.
Anybody that smokes weed knows that it's a what is this shit called? A
downer?
Is it a downer? I think that's the term for it. I was looking like something that relaxes you, whatever that term is called. Taking it back to the Dare days. I remember Dare with the line. Yeah. It's a downer, but yeah. So basically, chills you out. You're not gonna be doing a bunch, but it's like, bro, like when you be seeing rappers and shit, like they signing a contract. They got
with a blunt in their mouth.
They going out. They about to go do a concert. They got a blunt in their mouth. They about to go do some shit in the community. They got a blunt in. And I'm like, bro, I know you're not smoking every time you do something because.
Bro, there's no way.
It's gonna sit you down. There's no way that you can, especially the amount that they be smoking.
Like they be having like a bull, like niggas be having like a bag full of like weed, like.
And it's like, bro, I know you not hitting the blunt because you can't. Some people are functional. Some people are functional alcoholics. They do shit, be functional. But I think that's an agenda because it's like, why every time I see you about to do something, you got a blunt in your hand. Like what? That's the message that you're trying to push. But anybody that smoke weed, like I said, it slows you down and sits you down. You're not gonna be as responsive. You're not gonna be as sharp. So why would I hit a blunt and I'm about to go do an interview? That's why people be on Breakfast Club looking slow as fuck, looking retarded as hell, because they be high. Man.
Bro, this been a motherfucking year, bro. This been a motherfucking year.
Young Thug and YSL got the Rico this year. Man.
How y'all feel about that? How y'all feel
See,
about that,
you
bro?
got to know something about Young Thug, bro. Like, for me, I watched, shout out to Gilly and Wallow, $1 million worth of game.
Shout out Wallow. Shout out Gilly.
That's his dog.
Shout
Right
him out,
there,
bro.
Wallow.
King,
Love,
guys,
bro.
tap in.
Philly, tap in. Love.
Yeah,
I like it. We love what y'all do. Positive shit. We love it.
Bro, shout out $1 million worth of game. There was an
Shout out,
episode
Garner.
on there where basically Thug, it was really sad too, because this was right before Thug got locked up, and you could just kind of tell. No, I'm sorry. This was the one that he did on the Breakfast Club. You could tell that he was about to get locked up, just how he was acting and stuff. But on the Breakfast Club one, he was talking about basically. So Thug, of course, is from Atlanta, but basically he had a history of basically like when Katrina happened, a lot of people from New Orleans were moving around different areas. So some people went to Houston, some people went to New York, some people went to Atlanta. So basically, the story, this is like one of the urban myths about Young Thug or whatever, because everybody talk about how crazy Young Thug is. So basically, there was a bunch of people coming in from New Orleans, and basically they was like jacking the people that was in Atlanta. So they was like basically just invading, like coming in, robbing, stealing, killing people, just doing wild nigga shit. And so basically, Young Thug was like a teenager. I think they said he was like 14 or whatever, but basically it was like on some like he went to war with these niggas type shit. So he was basically, I don't want to speak on everything that they say that he did, but he was responsible for a lot of crimes and shit back then. And what niggas don't know, they actually got hit with a RICO back then. And watch the interview on the Breakfast Club that Young Thug did. I think Charlamagne and Envy was there. I don't think he was there, but he'll talk about it. But basically, they got hit with a RICO back then that Thug didn't get caught up in. And he literally said in the interview, he was like, bro, I seen like so many people go to jail that ain't never getting out. Like they got years and years and years. And so basically he had been, I think that's what put him on the watch of the feds, that he was already doing that, because in that interview he was also saying, like, I feel like my past is really catching up to me. And then I think Charlamagne had asked him like, you know, but you in a better place now, you rich and all this stuff. Like, do you ever think that, like, you know, you can move past it? He was like, I don't know. I feel like it's catching up to me. So at that moment, you can kind of tell, like, he got some shit. Like, his face looked like he was in a different spot. Like, it was a surreal interview because he got locked up, like, right after that. It's crazy.
I gotta watch that, man.
I'm gonna send it to you. Yeah,
send that to me, bro. To be honest, I don't keep up with shit like that. So I really y'all educate me. I know Gunna got released. I know Thug got locked up and shit, but you know what I mean? I hate to see Thug go though, because he really is a pioneer. And I know what Thug's done for his community. He's like an ATL knit. No cap, like for real.
Yo, he is. Bro, let's, like we always talk about, it's the yin and the yang. It's two sides to every coin. Like, because we can sit up here and say, bro, I want Thug free. But like in the previous episode, we was talking about like, these be killers and shit that niggas be talking about freedom and all that stuff. So it's like, I got a connection with Thug. I fuck with him for his music. So of course I want him free. But I'm not the family of the people that he did the dirt to. So to them people, it's fuck Young Thug. I don't want him to ever get out. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of a sticky subject, especially when you know somebody comes from that background and they may have been involved in certain shit.
And gangsta energy will find you back.
So
just like that bullet found takeoff.
Hey, wish them the best, pray for him. But
and then
it is what it is.
You know, to translate to Gunna, like niggas ain't shit. And I heard
throwing that cheese.
Yeah, like so like they
nigga that did that shit.
Okay, so y'all think Gunna snitched? So like what? Did he snitch? But I'm hearing all types of shit, bro.
I don't think he.
Yeah,
snitched.
I don't think so. Right. But niggas just jumped the gun and they went outside like his like Maybach like car and then threw like cheese like.
That was corny.
Cheese?
That was corny.
You know, like the cheese like you eat for your sandwich, like
slices of cheese.
Yeah, like slices of cheese.
Niggas just throwing Velveetas on the street.
Yeah, on his whip.
Yep, on his whip.
But that was corny, bro. I didn't respect that.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Gunna snitched yet, because if you they basically put out the little statement that he had or whatever.
Not
he
yet.
He basically said that I didn't snitch. I didn't do all that. All I did was take the plea deal and say, hey, I know that I know about YSL basically, and I think they said he's affiliated. I'm not sure about that part, but for sure he just said he knew about like YSL. And he took a plea deal, he got out. But in that deal, he also said that he will cooperate. I think they said he'll cooperate if he gets on the stand. But so yeah, I'm saying he didn't snitch yet, but he said he will cooperate. So I don't know how that shit gonna go.
I think I definitely I don't want to talk about it now, but I think we should talk about snitching on a future episode.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that'll be a
yeah,
whole episode.
That's a whole topic right there.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yo, so this year there was also the fucking I'll be trying to think of vocab words, man. I'll be trying to act like I'm smarter than what I am, y'all. There was the monumental the monumental Supreme Court case of abortion. About abortion being overturned.
Man.
Woo.
Man, that was bro. This has been a loaded year.
I'm telling you, like this year,
like
been
there's
crazy,
so much
man.
that's
When
happened.
you look back on it,
But see, that's a tough one, bro, because there's so many angles you could approach abortion with. You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Being that in the past, I've had a conversation about this before, and I've dealt with certain situations related to this. You know what I mean? On one side, it's like, okay, on one, like, bro, sometimes you don't need to have a baby because, bro, you are not in a position to raise a kid to be successful. You know what I mean? If the parents are at odds, or you know what I mean, you sitting here strung out on drugs and you still trying to have a kid, or you poor and you had like you gonna find a way to figure it out, or you know, then you got the religious side. You know what I mean? Everything happens for a reason. You know what I mean? God put this baby in my body. Who am I to tell God no? You know what I mean? It's also with the I'm trying to think. If someone has had previous abortions, you know what I mean? What do you tell that person? You know what I mean? Because we can't sympathize, or I don't know which one is like, when you really feel one, but empathize.
What would you say to the people that say this baby is a blessing and it doesn't matter if you're not ready right now, you'll figure it out pretty much? Like, what would you say to them people?
I mean, honestly, bro, this is what I'll say, because there's a response you give to somebody when you're actually in the situation. And going back to the Will Smith situation, bro, when you in that emotional, overwhelming point in life, you don't know what you're gonna do. You know what I mean? What I will say is, it really just comes down to the two people in that position. On one hand, I think women have to have a little bit of a slight edge on the decision, because it is their body that they're going to be mutilating, honestly. So you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's their body. So it's more, I would say it's a 60-40 type thing. But I also feel like the man also should have a say, because that's their baby too. You know,
and bro, like, people like to skip out on, if you want to say, okay, well, you was the one that shot in her and stuff. We both wanted to fuck. Let's stop that. Like, don't just put it on me. Like, I couldn't have even done it if you didn't let me.
And then my situation, bro, like, you know what I mean, bro, you were seducing me. You know what I mean? So it's like,
and not
like, yeah, I shot your club up, but you opened the club up for business. You know what I mean?
Y'all can't even get in. Chris Brown
but that's tough. But to bring it to the court case, I don't think it should be a federal. I think that it should not be a federal law. It should be I like the state by state law. I like the local law. I think, okay, go to a certain city. You can't do that. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I'm more so for I don't even like these things like pro-choice and pro-life, because pro-life kind of makes you seem being pro-life and being pro-choice makes you feel like, if you're pro-choice, you're not pro-life.
Well, those are all labels.
There's just
I don't
labels.
associate with any labels or any groups, because it ties me to a doctrine that I may not be necessarily down with. So don't even say that shit.
Exactly, because you hit the nail on the head. There's no absolutes in any facet of life. Right. So, you know what I mean? I really would support shout out the Forward Party. Shout out Andrew Yang. Trying to build a bridge between the left side and the right side of politics. I personally was involved in the North Carolina state leadership in our state. Please tap in with their political party. We're trying to move forward together, not apart. So one thing that they were proposing was a bottom-up approach, and letting the local cities in America decide what we should do. Because I'm more of a, like, no, you should let people choose if they want to keep or not keep the baby. But on the flip side, there's another person on the same side that says, no, this baby has a life, it means something. It's a piece of God, so you can't just get rid of that. So I would say that what we ideally should do would be to let the local cities decide. And then, let's say you live in Raleigh, you know what I mean? And in Raleigh, you can't have an abortion. Well, just go to Cary, you can get one.
Well, see, I'm not even with that, because who are you to tell somebody that they can't do it? Like, why is that even? Why is it even? Why can somebody tell somebody else that's pregnant, that may have gotten raped, that may be like 14, that may be a victim of extreme circumstance? Who gives you the right to tell that person that they can't do it? It's already their body, like you said, they already about to get mutilated. So for you to sit up there and say no, like, who are you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it shouldn't even be oh, this person has say, like, that shouldn't even, that's some goofy shit to me, period.
I'm always say, it really comes down on the individual for what they want to do. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and like you said, hey, like I'm not in a position to tell you like what you should or shouldn't do with your body. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna be a very personal choice, and like whatever you choose, like you got to stand on that like 10 toes down.
Right.
You know?
I mean, to piggyback on you, bro, I'm gonna give you some pushback on that, because I'm at the point where it's hard to say that you don't want the government to tell you to do certain things and what you should or shouldn't do, whether it's local, state, or federal. You can't say that if, you know what I mean, that's the government's job, honestly. The government's job, really, to be honest, is to be like, school teachers, to be like hall monitors. Like, they're literally, that's their job, to rule over us and to essentially, period, from time to time, tell us what to do. You know what I mean? I think eventually we need to get to that point. I think that the end goal, if humans get to where our most beneficial destination would be, is where we don't need any government. But because we have government, that's why I say that I feel like the localization of politics would be way more beneficial within the certain system that we have. And it's more realistic.
Bro, I'm gonna say, so I've gotten a girl pregnant before. I've never had an abortion because unfortunately she had a miscarriage, but it's definitely something that I've considered doing and had thought about. And I just want to say, like, this was years ago, so I would have been devastated if I didn't even have the option to do that, Why can the government tell? Because the government is there to help the disenfranchised, to set standards on certain shit, but you shouldn't be telling somebody if they can get an abortion or not, because ultimately, if they can't afford it, the government is going to end up paying for it anyway. So,
what's the point of
the law then? Bro, I saw, like, I was at work. This is like right after the little case had went through. It was like a group of teenagers. They were like 12 and 13. It was probably like 3 or 4 of them. And they had this shirt on that said pro-life, like these teenage white girls. And I was like, bro, like, that's clearly some shit that y'all dad.
Y'all were taught.
Yeah, because it's like, bro, you not even old enough to know how that shit really go. Yeah, like, so what if you get, look, forgive me for this, but like, what if you get raped and you get pregnant? You still gonna have that shirt on? You gonna have that shirt on? That shit pissed me off.
Yeah. Let's say, what would be the point of even acting laws? Like I said, I agree with you on an idealistic point of view. I think that, at the end of the day, that's not what we should do. But within this certain system that we got, you know what I mean? You got people that feel like you, and you got people that feel like the exact opposite of you on the same coin, but on the flip side of it. You know what I mean? And, we've talked about it before with black on black crime. If we're going to move forward, we got to move forward with everybody. We got to bring all perspectives to the table. And a lot of people got to do some sacrifice, and a lot of people got to do some winning. You know what I mean? So I feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like that localization of that decision, it takes away the dictatorship. You know what I mean? By making it a federal crime. Like, nobody in America can get motherfucking abortions. Even with the statewide. Nobody in North Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta, none of y'all can get abortions. But when you localize that politics, I think that has more of a potent effect on constituents, because the more people you involve when it comes to things like government and control, the harder it's going to be to appease everybody. That's why America's a damn near a shit show, because we are a culture full of subcultures. We got to please black people, white people, and everything under black people and white people. Hispanic folks also. Skater culture, hip-hop culture, rock culture, country culture. Motherfuckers that like to go mow lawns, and motherfuckers that like to farm, motherfuckers that like to go party. You know what I mean? So like it's hard. So when you localize that politics, you get more unification behind it. And though you can... There's going to be disagreements between, cities. Let's say, Cary people talk shit about Raleigh people because Raleigh people don't get abortions, but Cary people do. You know what I mean? Then we'll have to approach that problem when that comes. But I don't know, man. I feel like it would be a little bit effective when you bring it on a localized level.
I mean, that's your take on it,
I respect your take on it too. See, look at that.
Right, so,
you know what I'm saying? Differences, and we just, fuck it. You know what I mean? See that?
Some big shit, some international shit that happened this year. The Queen's death, man.
Who?
Anybody really give a fuck about that? The Queen?
The Queen?
Of
England? The Queen of England?
I mean, it ain't
Queen Elizabeth.
It's not.
Whatever number. RP. But I'm just like, bro, the thing that killed me about that shit, like,
that feeds into
as a
the
black person, it's just like, I don't really even associate with that over there. Because it's just like... No, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, bro, when you have the royal crown family, these people that believe in just this pure bloodline, they don't give a fuck about black people. So it's just like, and then for an old girl, Meghan Markle, to go marry that, and then she talking about all this racist and, unfair treatment she get. What did you expect? You already know that they about keeping that bloodline pure. You a black woman, mixed woman, whatever. So you really, that's just unrealistic. You think you gonna go over there and
it's
not
no
have
disrespect. No disrespect.
But that's black girl magic, right? You know what I'm saying?
It ain't no disrespect, but I wasn't being in tune with that because I'm like, I got my own life to live. Like them, they're settled and good for life. But me
and everybody that she
touched
had
and everybody that loved her.
Right.
Yeah, everybody that she had an influence on. But for me personally, it was just like another death to me.
And let's normalize that. Let's normalize saying, honestly, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, why should you, realistically, bro, why should we care that the Queen of England died? First of all, we in America. Nigga, first of all, we ain't got to be black. Motherfucking, bro, who gives a fuck about the Queen of England other than motherfuckers in England? You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not cultural enough, though.
We not talking shit. I'm just saying.
You know what? Let me calm down because I might get canceled right now.
RP, we not talking shit. I'm just saying it wasn't important to me.
It's no disrespect, but to us, it's not. You know what I mean?
It's like, bro, and I'm black. I already know how y'all look at me. So
right.
Why do I got empathy for,
I got, my own life to live. You feel what I'm saying? So,
So this year, Brittany Griner also got locked up and released over marijuana. So we talking about marijuana earlier. It's just like, and then I think with Brittany, she had like a medical, what is it called, a prescription to do it.
mm-hmm.
But it's just like, bro, we just got to move smarter. I mean, you traveling internationally. When you go to a different country, you have to be. They always say ignorance is no excuse for the law. You have to know the laws. You have to know the customs. So you already traveling with a substance that's illegal in certain areas in America. So you going to a different country. You should have done your homework on that. So it was just unfortunate that girl got locked up like that. But she got freed. And I don't know how I feel about that shit.
I mean,
because the trade didn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's something that we don't want to talk about. Like, everybody was so happy on Twitter and Instagram. Oh yeah, since she home. But what's the motive behind that? Like, people that are analyzers and shit saw that. It was like, okay, so first of all, she wasn't getting free because they tried to trade somebody at first, and I guess she wasn't worth enough to trade for this other person. So there was no talk about, she's basically just going to sit there and ride out, was it like 9 years, I think?
Damn.
So she was basically going to ride this out. And then all of a sudden it gets announced that she's going to get freed. And they trading her for like this, I think it was like a Russian arms dealer or something like that,
Yeah. Damn.
And so it's like, bro, you got to know the climate. They at war with Ukraine.
Yep.
So they traded Brittany Griner for that. So it's kind of like, that's a tough situation because it's like, the best of two, what is it? The worst of two evils, because it's like, okay, the lesser two evils. So we got Brittany Griner back, but what did we lose? We gave up a prisoner of war, somebody that's going to create a bunch of weapons that's gonna go to Ukraine and fuck people up over there. And the stuff that we doing as the United States, we helping out Ukraine, so that might end up in being more troops for us over there, you know.
But you low key,
So
if we had a certain audience, you said something controversial. You said, well, what did we really gain? That's a really honest and that's really a truthful statement.
Well, that's a war
because
move.
we sitting here war mindset.
Yeah, that's a war move. When you, bro, you know about this military shit, like all that shit, all the stuff that happens like that, it's all tactics. So it's all like there's a reason behind everything. So I'm just like, what was the reason behind? If we heard that she wasn't getting out, then all of a sudden there was a change, and we look at who was traded for who. What was the motive behind that? But on Twitter, they only seeing that she free. That's all they talking about. But let's talk about the other thing.
And then, like, we got to think, Russians are more cold blooded than like here in America.
They savage,
they're savage as fuck. You know what I mean? So them getting that mercenary dude. What if allegedly again? What if Putin be like, hey, come here, like I want you to work on these like weapons right here, so that way we can use this against the Ukrainians and shit.
Yep. And we wanted her free. I wanted her free. But I'm just saying, like, that trade, is
like, what were the consequences of that trade? Yeah. And that the biggest question to ask me, what has been talked behind closed doors to the point where now we're trading a Russian arms dealer? That's a big motherfucking move right there. But that's the only thing. Because once again, I'm not a social media person. When I am on social media, I try to just market myself in the podcast.
Putting tarot cards and shit on.
Yeah, bro. For real.
Prayers and shit.
I am nothing but a spiritual being, not a human being. But you know what I mean? Like what? Like, bro, okay, so what were the conversations behind closed doors?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what really happened? Because honestly, everything that we're showed and everything that's given to us, bro, like we definitely are more times than not getting the full story, and that's a big fucking problem. That's what's running through my head. Like, so what is being talked about behind our backs that we are not being kept in the loop about? Because that's big.
And then to add on to with this correlates to the other topic too, Russia and Ukraine, right? So here in America, Biden's sending like $1 billion over there to help them, fight the war against like Russia, which is like, bro, like my nigga, like we ain't got nothing to do with that shit. You do what I'm saying? Like we
all that shit, bro.
We already into some deep shit here in America, and then like for you to send that money out to them to help them out, crazy.
But see, it's like with that though, this is so funny because I feel like every topic that we had, it's been split opinions. I get that. Like on the surface level, it's like, yeah, we got shit going on here, but you also have to think of like when it comes to like world powers and shit at the war level, political level is always deeper than it seems. So when you got the United States, we all have like allied forces and shit like that. So when
NATO.
When you go
Treaty Organization,
when you go and help out countries like Ukraine, that's all a part of keeping this organization, allied force organization that you have. So say, Ukraine gets attacked, then we go over there and help them. Say we get bombed by Russia or some shit. Now we can call on Poland, France and Sweden, all these people that
France.
We got the gang with us. Yep. So it's like I get it. No, I don't necessarily want us to be spending money over there, but I see why it's being done.
And let me just say, like, you got to understand the type of frequency we're talking on. We're shifting from different frequency, all of them high, keep it a band. But, like, you got to understand the frequency we're talking about. We're sitting here talking about wartime. We're talking about wartime. And in wartime, from that perspective, you know what I mean? Politically, from that perspective, on a global level, like, what is being done right now? What are we talking about right here? What is it that y'all are trying to achieve? All right, guys. So, we've gone over a lot of stuff for this year. We've brought personal stories up. We're talking about, everything going on with just the world, United States, globally. Something crazy.
Man.
Something crazy just happened. It has causing a lot of division. Sadly.
A lot of commotion in the air. A lot of
commotion. Sadly. Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion.
My man's got 22 years for that.
Now, I ain't gonna sit here and sugarcoat nothing. We just gonna jump into it. Ain't gonna be no questions or no sugarcoat.
Oh no, man.
Why? the fuck did Tory Lanez get 22 years? I'm gonna be real. Okay, so like,
Well, we don't know if it's 20. It's up to 20. That's
up
the
to
max.
22.
That's the maximum.
Up to 22.
That's the
Thank
maximum.
God King Coop corrected me. You know what I'm saying? But up to 22 years. This is my only problem with this. The only issue I have with this. Even if this nigga did shoot Megan. 22 years, nigga.
Yeah, that's
22 years.
That's fucking ridiculous.
Murderers get more than 22 years. Murderers get 22 year sentences.
Get less than 22.
I mean, I'm gonna just say what me and you were talking about, Coop. If they gave the nigga 5 years, bro, I have a problem with it because I personally disagree.
You're a fan because you're a fan.
I'm a fan, and I have a right to feel the way I feel, and I have a right to my opinion. But 22, nigga, like that's it seems like what you're doing is making Tory a sacrificial lamb for a cause and not really going about it the right way to loop back into what we were talking about earlier. I'm going to pass the ball. Y'all go ahead.
Tory, man. So, man, this shit is tough because Tory is one of my favorite artists. When I say artists, I'm not talking about rappers. I'm talking about artists, people that make music, because Tory is so talented. He makes music in every subgenre of hip hop. Like he can do that on the you know what I'm saying, the super northern type rap with the Philly niggas, the New York niggas. He can take it to Miami. He can take it to Florida. He can take it to the West Coast shit. Like, nigga did an album, 80s themed album, and this shit was good. Did you listen to that?
Yeah, and I'll take this. Y'all know I'm a Tory Lanez super fan. This nigga will do an 80s album. This nigga will do some island
tapes,
shit.
R&B.
Some reggae, chicks tapes, have his own form of R&B. He'll do all types of R&B, rapping R&B, singing R&B, hit R&B, just regular. He had a song with Mario, and then just rapping, going on Funk Flex and spitting. You know what I mean? Like, he's an artist. He's an artist.
He also went up against Jordan Lucas as far as like the whole
all the beef that he had. Was that 2 years ago?
Nigga, bro, he went with Joyner. He had a beef with Drake, Don Q.
Yeah, Dax.
Who the fuck is Dax?
Exactly. But some nigga that got bodied by Tory. The Don Q and Tory Lane, that was one of the best hip hop beefs in probably the last 20 years. Because them niggas was spitting bars. And that's the thing that niggas will I don't get, like, okay, short niggas always catch a bad rap, but niggas will automatically try to play Tory just because the nigga's short. But if you listen to the nigga music, you gotta respect it because you see the talent that he has. Like, when Tory Lanez, okay, so me personally, this is how I gain respect and fandom for Tory because I had heard some of his singing shit. I think the first song that I like heard and knew was Tory was that song "Say It."
Of course, same here. Same here.
So I heard that and I was like, okay, this is cool, but it wasn't nothing that I was like, all right, I'm a fan of this dude. And then it's just like, so I think this might have been Breakfast Club or just something I saw on Instagram or something like that. But it was basically like footage of like Tory Lanez running up on Travis Scott. Did you see that?
Yeah, I remember that shit.
He
On the
ran up on
little
Travis
tour
Scott
bus?
because it was on the tour, yeah. I think Travis Scott was talking shit or something. Something happened where he was slighting Tory. Right. And Tory went with that shit. So he ran up and checked him. And then Travis Scott got scared and didn't do shit. Now that right there made me a fan of that nigga because I was like, that's some real nigga shit. Like everybody always playing this nigga because of how short he is. But that right there showed me that he had heart. And I'm a fan of people that got heart. And I'm also a fan of underdogs because I've always been an underdog. So Tory is one of the most talented people, but he's an underdog because he's Canadian, he's short, he sings. Like, niggas are automatically gonna try to play him, but I guarantee you if you face him head to head, he gonna body you.
Yeah, he made that nigga Dax say sorry. Say sorry, nigga. Say sorry. Exactly. Like, cause he ran up on Dax because he said, "Hey, bro, listen, like, you know, like, don't, please. I don't want to do this beef right now. Like, you don't got nothing to do with me and Don Q." But Dax kept pushing it. And then he went out to LA and he like literally like chased them down like 10 blocks. And then like he forced Dax to say like sorry, like right to his face. So I'm like, all right, you know, Tory.
And he a little nigga.
Right. Like Tory
you got heart, bro.
Yeah.
You gotta respect people that got heart, bro. Yeah. And then it's just like and so ever since that moment I've been a fan, and I'm just like, I feel like he's never gotten the respect that he's deserved. And then 2020 he had the quarantine radio, and I was starting to notice him catch a little buzz and shit, and then bam, you hear about the shooting with Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez.
And not to mention that Bro, he was, I think, one of the first rappers to introduce NFTs, which is big for us as a culture and hip hop culture. I ain't even listen to that, bro. I'm mad I didn't listen to it.
He had the Black Leprechaun weed that he was doing. Like, bro, he was making moves out here.
Hey, you know what?
Now it's damn near RP Tory Lanez because we don't know how much money he got.
Because the 22 years is bullshit.
How many years he got?
I always seems like I always shout one person out every episode. Shout out my dog Trey College, my motherfucking nigga. I remember I think the first album you put me on, bro, was I Told You by Tory Lanez. And that song, I don't know if y'all listened to it recently. Listen to it as a totality. Every song has a skit.
Every song got a skit. Flex.
It's
Flex. Yo.
It's top tier. Top tier. I'm a super fan of Tory, but it's top tier.
That was one of my favorites because, like you said, it's like I'm a fan of storytelling. So niggas always talk about Kendrick and shit, but I'm a fan of like storytelling albums. The way he put that album together.
I don't like the way you raise your lip at me.
The way he put that album together with every song having a skit behind it, it's like every skit went into the song. Like that shit, that was
like that's artistry. And I gotta be respectable and say that definitely Kendrick, Good Kid, Mad City. I have to be respectful and say that. Look,
T-Pab is Kendrick's best album. So
Good Kid, Mad City is still better than I Told You though. But like it's the same theme with the same album. We ain't gonna talk about it right now. We ain't gonna talk about it right now. We can get in that later. We can get in that later. But hold on, bro. Let me say something. What I do want to say is, look, I'm a Tory fan. Blase. Regardless, I noticed something that I have to bring up to y'all. We're sitting there talking about the energy that we put out. The energy that we put out. Nigga put out womanizing energy.
Yes.
Now a woman buried him. Like I said, that I have a right to my opinion. I personally feel like this is just celebrity bullshit and possibly like the court case could just get canceled. He not do any jail time. But
I'm with you.
Energy, that energy found him. That energy found him. He put that energy out there. Now you mad because a woman buried you, and you build a career, you build a life on talking about your relationships, how you fucked up women and how women fucked up you, just to be respectable. But I mean, come on now.
I'm with you on that because I was talking to one of my coworkers at work about this, and we were just talking about. Okay, so to finish my thought that I was saying earlier. So Tory, I noticed Tory was catching a buzz and shit during quarantine radio. He had a lot of eyes on him. I was like, this is good. Then bam, next thing you hear is the shooting with Meg Thee Stallion or whatever. Now I was telling people off gate, I'm a Tory fan. So you hear about this shit and just let niggas be fans, bruh. Like everybody want to get canceled shit, bruh. If I'm a fan of somebody, I'm going to ride like. If you a fan of anybody, you gonna ride with them through hard times. Right. So when I heard this shit, I'm on Tory's side, of course, because I'm a fan of him. And you talking about the energy he put out there. Tory did put womanizing energy out there. And I'm like, yeah, I was talking to somebody about work today, but look at Meg Thee Stallion catalog. Look at what she talking about. She ain't no innocent angels. So this is what just killed me about the whole thing because, like I said, I'm a Tory Lanez fan, so automatically, when you hear that you a fan of somebody, you want them to get off. But everybody was just trying to paint it as if she was just this innocent, damsel in distress. And I'm like, bro, do y'all hear the shit that she rap about? And not to say that nobody can't be a victim, but I'm just like, bro, don't act like she just this helpless woman. First of all, she's bigger than him. The energy she puts out there is very masculine. Like, it ain't like she fucking... just taking this dude soft, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she was mad, as we heard more about the case, she was already on 10 because she was mad because he was trying to fuck on Kylie or something. So before I get into my synopsis, I just wanted to say the thing that pissed me off about the whole Tory Lanez case was everybody just automatically took her side without even trying to hear what Tory had to say. Like, when do we ever do that? Like, even when you due process is a thing. Even when you go to law, both sides get a chance to say their piece. But it was just like, everybody was just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I'm riding with Megan. Tory drops an album. Oh, we not trying to hear that. Fuck that nigga album. Like, don't even listen to it. What kind of goofy shit is that? So we just gonna ride with the female, even though something we had on that list that we didn't get to talk about because this episode is running long. The Amber Heard and Johnny Depp case, that defamation case when she lied on that nigga. So we just coming off of this, and y'all just gonna take Meg Thee Stallion's side without hearing what he had to say, knowing the type of content that she puts out there. Mm-hmm. So that shit just aggravated me because, like I said, I'm a fan, so I'm a ride, but it was a whole bunch of wishy-washy fans that just wanted to be with the narrative they were pushing about protecting black women. Everybody just was scared to go against that, so they were just, riding with that. And I'm just like, I felt bad for that shit because I'm like, bro, my man going through real shit here. We don't know what happened. He tries to put out an album. He can't talk about it directly. It's an open case. But she's allowed to go out here and make as many statements as she want. She put a gag order on him, so he couldn't say nothing about it. She's taking interviews and shit. And he was quiet for the most part, and then he puts an album out because that's all he can really do. And that's what you want an artist to do anyway. You want them to talk about personal shit that's going on in their life through their music because that's the best music when it's something personal and they're going through some shit. Breakups and shit like that makes good music. So my nigga drop an album, nobody listens to it. Where's your fan base? You were just popping with the quarantine radio shit, you know what I'm saying? So that shit really just irked me because I'm like, bro, never do we take one side of an argument before we hear the facts out. And then even when you were trying to say that, it was like you were just getting thrown under this narrative of, oh, you hate women, black women specifically. You hate black women. Nah, it's not none of that. We just know how shit go. But my synopsis of the case was, like you said, it's ironic that Tory got buried by a woman because he was a womanizer. And not to say that, that's not how some people live when you young, rich, and famous. But so my synopsis of the case was basically that, so Meg had hooked Tory up with the girl Kelsey, right? Which was Meg's friend at the time. Mm-hmm. And he got with Kelsey, whatever. And then I guess at some point he had got with Meg on that Playboy womanizer shit. We know what Tory's MO was. So they were at this party at Kylie's house. So my assumption was he had hit both of them already and he wasn't even tripping on that. He was trying to hit Kylie. Mm-hmm. So Meg and the girl Kelsey ended up leaving together at some point. And then they said that like Meg came back for a slipper or something like that. I think that shit was capped because it's like, bro, you rich as hell. You're not tripping over a shoe, especially if you left upset. Like, if you left upset, you either want to get away from the shit that made you upset or you want to go back and cause hell over what made you upset. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what happened. He had hit both of them. It came out to Meg and Kelsey that he had hit both of them. And so she was like, bitch, let's go back and get Tory. Mm-hmm. So they go back, and this is like the reports. Like, they went back, and then she came out with Tory. I don't know if that was physically, like she picked the nigga up or what, but they said that she came out with Tory. Tory's a little nigga, so yeah. Yeah, and then so whatever happened after that, I think there was like a heated argument. I don't exactly know from there, but I just know everybody's emotions was on 10. They said that there was gunpowder on him and the girl. And I honestly think that Tory may have shot the girl. I think that Tory may have shot the girl. And that's why I'm not against him being in jail. My biggest problem is just that exacerbated sentence. Because this is some shit, everybody talking about protecting black women. Okay, when it comes to black men, the system don't have no sympathy for us. They don't
give a fuck about you.
Bro, every time we get locked up, they throw the biggest, longest sentences at niggas possible that they can do. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, like I honestly think he shot her because it was a lot going on. They was on drugs. They was ganging up on him. He a little nigga. He probably shot down to warn them and then hit over on the foot. And that's just another thing too. This was my man doing up to 22 years over a heated argument. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not with that. And then, like I said, my biggest issue was that nobody took his side and that people, whenever black men get knocked up on some shit, they throw the book at us. We get the longest sentences over simple shit.
You said a mouthful, and all I'm going to say is, let's not take this as a pivotal moment in black folks' growth, because honestly, this case was just.
Oh, this was meant to split black men and black women.
No, for real, yo. Like this is just causing division. This is not a powerful moment. This is just a trending topic that took up conversation.
And bro, this is where maturity comes in, and this is something that niggas gotta learn how to do in 2023 too. It's just hold the L, take a L, be okay with taking the L. Like I'm a Tory Lanez fan. I wanted him to win the case. When I heard that he didn't win, I was upset, but I'm like, damn, like, okay, well, I mean, shit, that's just what it is. I'm not one of these niggas out here that's out here talking shit. And I saw there was a petition going around. I'm not gonna do that. Like, he took it to trial. He lost. It's fucked up, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that we gotta learn how to do. Let's hold that L.
Yeah, how you feel, Ralph? We done.
Man, like you done said a whole lot.
Man, speak your mind, man. This Peace of Mind
Well,
podcast.
first off, I got one of the songs that I got hooked on Tory, which I don't know the
drive
song.
You crazy.
Huh?
Lake X drive you crazy.
No.
You know that's
it was.
Yeah, nigga.
It was the one where he was talking about his mom, right? His mom's like, like
Happiness and Tell Me. I think I
It was
played
off
that
the
for you.
Memories Don't Die.
Happiness and Tell Me. Talking about how his mom's died.
He's such an artist, bro. That was his first
That song
album.
was fucking amazing,
Crazy.
by the way, bro.
Crazy.
9-minute song. 9.
Talking about his mom that died the day he came home from school. His dad picked him.
And then like the way
we got 2 parts in this episode, but we had like an hour and 40 right now.
The way he described that shit, like it kind of felt like
painted-
I was there.
Yeah, he
Like
painted
just
He had the storm clouds.
Yeah,
in
like
the back.
yeah, like a rainy day, stormy clouds.
Pure
and
artistry. Pure
and
artistry.
then just getting
Megan Thee Stallion
views.
could never.
Yes.
She could never.
And then when it comes to the court systems, they're gonna mostly benefit women because it's a female versus men. Like us black men. Hey, like you on your own. If you fuck up, your ass done.
And that's the fucked up part too, bro. Because it's like, as men, we always have to hold ourselves at a certain standard. Like, and that's what's hard about living in the world as a man, because we always have to be accountable for our actions.
For everything.
Versus
bro.
women can go out here and do
And
a
be
lot of shit
reckless.
and get a pass for it. So in that instance, Tory lost his cool. He shot down. Now he has to do up to 22 years because he lost his cool.
Yeah.
But she lost her cool and went back and got that nigga. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy.
And ain't that that's the quote from the Bible, which I don't agree with this quote. It's fucked up, but it says women and children could be reckless, but the man like you gotta stay on your shit.
That's the curse of being. I
that's
mean,
the
it's a
curse,
lot of benefits of being a man. I wouldn't want to be nothing else but a man.
right.
But the curse of a man is you always have to be able to have your shit together. You can't have that moment where you slip. You can't have a Will Smith moment.
Nope.
You can't have a Tory Lanez moment. Like,
Nope.
you can't. You got to be damn near perfect out here, or else people gonna talk shit about you. They gonna trash you, and then you just got to take that shit on the chin, bro. Like, it ain't no sympathy for a nigga out here. Like,
I ain't gonna hold
really.
you, bro. I'm gonna go off for a little bit because y'all said something powerful that ignited a spiritual lesson that I had to learn this year. Y'all have always known me to always make sure I'm speaking for women. The reason I speak up for women is because I noticed the inconsistencies with a lot of viewpoints on women and how people feel about women. But given the year that I've had, the year that I've ended with, and I would say that there's not absolute truth validity to what you're saying, but there's some validity behind what you're saying because I found through personal experience, if you're put in a certain situation, it don't matter. It don't matter what the fuck you think as a man. It really don't. It really don't. You are just supposed to take whatever comes to you, and you got to just take that shit on the shoulder. You got to keep it moving. And it's unfair, but that's just the way shit is, bro. Like, motherfuckers, like, really, when you are a man, and I would even say just a person surrounded by damaged individuals are always going to find a way to look at you and say, but you're not understanding this, or you are not seeing this, or blase, blase, blase. You know what I'm saying? It's a man has to put his feelings to the side and just be that rock for everybody, because that's what's necessary. And that's what I'm realizing. That's where that shit comes from. That's why men feel like they can't show emotion. Men, and I'm saying this from a spiritual place, and I'm saying this from simply a place to educate y'all on a perspective. Men don't want to open up on their emotions because when they do get approached with that intelligence of tapping into their emotional side, and they show their emotional side, and if they show their emotional side to the wrong person, it gets stepped on, and you, regardless, will get looked at as a womanizing ain't shit ass nigga. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just really what it is, yo. Like, that's just what it is. It's not what it is for everybody, but there are certain struggles that come with being a man that is detrimental to men's mental health. You know, we want men to invest in their mental health, especially in the Black community, but we're not offered a chance because when we expose our mental health, it gets turned back around on us. And it just seems like there's no point in even bringing it up, you know.
Let me
but
just say this one thing, and I'll let you go, bro.
What are you gonna say?
So this goes back to that book that we talked about, The Way of the Superior Man. Basically, it's like you trying to do the shit that I would do to you. You looking for solutions. You trying to do shit like this instead of just listening to me. Like, I just want to be heard. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's tying it back to the book. It's about like I said, men, we represent the masculine energy, but you have to find that right female that allow you to be vulnerable to her.
Exactly.
So where you can get that and she can take that in and turn on. And women have a way of, that's just the biology of a woman, to take shit in and manifest things out of it. Mm-hmm. You know, they create from...
They're natural creators.
Yeah, they create from penetration.
Goddesses.
All that shit. They take certain shit in and they create things out of it. So if you don't have a woman that you can come to and put your emotions into and have those vulnerable moments, then she ain't no good, bro.
I mean, shit, we all soldiers, but everybody get tired of shouldering shit alone all the fucking time. You know what I'm saying? Like, eventually that shit catches up to you. You want somebody to listen to you, to help you out and shit like that, but that just come with being a man. Like we were talking about earlier, like certain shit that you just gotta carry on you. And that feeds into the mental health and shit when niggas break down and have, you know, those moments where they may be wilding out. Nah, that was a breakdown. You know, he had a bunch of shit on him that this last shit that broke the straw for him, you know.
I do want to go ahead and just ask this last question because we definitely run it long. It's a passionate, beautiful conversation. Man, 2022, that's what we talking about, bro. What do you think, guys, 22 has meant to you? What, if you had to label this chapter that is 22, anything, for you personally, what would you call it, bro? I see y'all marinating. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this off, man. It's a heavy question. Man, this last month, that's really all I've been thinking about. You know, I'm not being direct about what I've been going through, but you know what I mean? Y'all know. And the conclusion of 2022, man, if I had to call this year anything, I said it the entire episode, the devil comes to you at your highest moment. And I say that not to emphasize the devil part or to be negative. Why I'm saying that is because it goes back to the connection that you have with yourself. When the devil starts to creep up and everything's been going well, things can keep going well. Life does not have to be a stressful thing. That's a mental health bandwagon that we've all hopped on as a country. Life does not have to be stressful. Life is not a terrible thing to be lived. Life is a beautiful thing to be lived. But when you find the devil knocking at your doorstep, you have to have the composure, the connection with yourself, the love within yourself to not allow yourself to do anything detrimental to yourself moving forward. Something that's been ruminating in my head is when I asked my grandfather when I was 18 and I was going to college, I said, Papa, if you had to give me any advice on living life going forward, what would you say? He said one thing, but I don't remember it. The second thing he said was...
What the fuck? Why'd you bring it up?
The second thing he said was, don't piss in the wind. Don't piss in the wind, meaning don't get in your own way. At this point in my life, I'm seeing that it's me that's really just in my own way at this point. The sky is the limit, not just for me, but for all of us, for you three, for everybody watching, for everybody not watching. The sky is always the limit. And the only thing stopping you is you. You know what I mean? We can sit here and talk about all these shits going on outside of here. We can sit here and point the finger at this person in this situation and this organization and this group of people. We can keep pointing the finger.
But to quote the stand-up comedian Eddie Griffin, freedom is not something you can buy on sale at a supermarket. Freedom is a state of mind. Freedom is what we're looking for. Ourselves is what we're looking for. We have to reconnect with ourselves. And just to localize it a little bit, I need to reconnect with myself. I need to reconnect with myself so I can lead the life that I need to live for myself and everybody around me. The devil comes for you at your highest moment. Don't ever forget it.
I want to say, I'm gonna just make it quick. I feel like 2022 has been a year of resetting my my mindset about a lot of things because I've always just been more so a by the books guy. You know, just go to school, make good grades, you know, play a sport, go to college, find a job, and you be straight. So my mind has changed as far as just on different things about, you know, how to make money, about women in certain ways, about I just feel my mindset changing because I'm, you know, about to be 25. I feel like that's where you have some experience about living alone and living your way. So once you head into like, you know, your mid 20s, you kind of like start fine tuning certain shit about, you know, the way that you move or, you know, just living by yourself. So for me, it's just been about resetting because the mindset that I have now, I'm carrying into 2023 about just not always being a stickler about stuff. Some shit is gonna fall outside of the spectrum. Certain shit that I was raised up to believe. Now that I'm older, I'm like, that ain't really gonna work, you know. Right. So I'm like, it's all about defining my own standards now and capitalizing on the way that I feel now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, you know, just being so aligned with, you know, who you are. Because me, you know, this year, obviously, I've been battle tested, but, you know, like I said, I'm still here. I'm still Jarrell. It's just, you know, and my best advice is, you know, like I just said, you know, you gotta give a fuck about yourself like so much that you tune out everything else that's going on out here. No, like you gotta like really deeply find out who you are.
Divine selfishness.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yes. Like you love your family, you love your friends, but it's just like, hey, you know what? Like my mental health, my spirituality comes first. Because obviously as a man out here and as a black man out here, you know, this shit is against you. So it's like it's very imperative that you take really, really good care of yourself.
Facts, bro. The world hates. I feel like black men are the most hated men on earth. Out of majority, I'm not gonna say all races, but majority races, automatically we get looked at a certain way. So, you know,
from everybody.
Yeah. So you just gotta learn how to.
Everybody.
You gotta, like you said, learn how to protect your own mental health because,
which makes it even more important to have that connection with yourself. Because if you don't have that connection with yourself, speaking on the frequency right here, black men, it's going to be so easy for you to be knocked off your feet, knocked off your pivot. But you got to be connected with yourself. That's the thing that everybody's missing nowadays. We're not unified with us. We're looking at all these things on the outside and looking for connection, not understanding connection is what exactly we are. 2022, the number 2 means unification. 1 and 1 coming together, creating one number. 2022 is the year of unification. No matter how you want to look at this year, no matter how the losses we've taken, all the highs that we've had, no matter what the fuck has happened in this year, the key and the seed that needs to be planted in all of not only our minds, but this entire body, our entire just being, the entire God that we all share and we all are, needs to be coming together and unifying. Because that's how we're not going to blow this motherfucker up. That's how we're not going to go this way. That's how we're not going to let separatism blossom. We're not.
Separatism.
We're not.
Taught you a new word, boy.
Already. Don't call me boy, nigga.
Hey, man, as we close out, I just want to say rest in peace, Takeoff. Yes, rest in peace, PNB Rock. Yeah. Rest in peace, JD Young. Everybody that we lost this year that we didn't get a chance to talk about tonight.
R.I.P. Tory.
R.I.P. to everybody that we lost in 2022. And Happy New Year, y'all.
Happy New Year.